Proctor, pull back your bow. Text racist stuff to your sergeant. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the John Filax channel. I don't know if you've ever heard of the Karen Reed trial, but Karen Reed was dating a cop named Michael O'Keefe, I believe his name was. And they were all drinking with other cops from Canton Police Department and surrounding agencies. Well, one of the other cops, his name was Higgins, was trying to date O'Keefe's girl, and she was kind of enabling him, whatever you want to call it. They actually kissed one night, and it's a huge story. So they got in a barking match at the bar. They told him to come to the house where they were all hanging out. He agreed to go there. Karen didn't want to go in. She drops him off. He goes in. Next thing you know, he's found dead in the front yard. Well, one of the cops, the main lead cop, who led the investigation, after 16 or 17 hours, decided that they were going to frame Karen Reed and say that she backed into him. Meanwhile, he has dog bites and lacerations and giant gashes on his head. He was beat to death, bitten, and then thrown in the front yard. If you don't know this story, man, you should go really look it up. But during the proceedings, Michael Proctor, the lead investigator, his text messages got exposed where he called her the C word and said she had a leaky balloon knot and made fun of her medical condition and said she was crazy and hopefully she would just off herself. And he eventually got fired, but they found more of his messages and just found out that he's just a disgusting bigot who hates everybody but white people. And him and his sergeant are texting each other these messages.
Its hateful and despicable views were not only part of their own daily vernacular, but were woven through the fabric of their organization's culture and everyday conversations. Proctor, after telling Goode about a multi-car accident in Canton, actually, take your time. I saw a N-word was involved. So I wouldn't rush if you're working. Let them die. This is a
and it only gets worse.
Massachusetts State Police at the time trooper talking about a potential victim in a car wreck, and because of the color of their skin, Michael Proctor says to Goode, no need to take any action, let them die. We already knew the kind of horrific person Proctor was. We now get a glimpse into the inner workings of his mind, unfortunately, even more so than before. We thought that the texts that were read during the trial were bad. Folks, you ain't seen nothing.
Dude, I was shocked when I heard those text messages during the trial, and he was forced to read his own text messages out loud to the jury. You gotta follow the story if you haven't, like from the beginning.
Have you been Proctor? My new VP is a giant malignant see you next Tuesday. I pray to the heavens that some effed up insect from the Amazon crawls up her vagina, hatches eggs, and the litter kills her by eating her from the inside out. Sean Goode, biggest see you next Tuesdays. Michael Proctor referring to his then girlfriend's anus. I can't even get effing near that thing. I make every...
That's what he's talking about his own girlfriend. This is the conversations he has with his sergeant that he can't get near. He wants to put his junk, direct-D style, inside his girlfriend's
effort possible. I wait till she's asleep and I try to get at it. I try every effort possible. I try to get her hammered. I can't get anywhere near it. It's starting to piss me off. It's
starting to piss him off that he can't direct-D his woman's behind. It's starting to piss him off. This is how disgusting this cop is.
Cool. Is Michael Proctor in writing admitting to trying to R his own girlfriend at the time? That's what it's starting to look like.
Absolutely. That's exactly what he's saying. He's trying to get her so inebriated he can stick his junk in her direct-D.
This is unbelievable, folks. You can't make this stuff up. Some of the best writers in the world couldn't have predicted this. Michael Proctor. Went into Canton High this morning to get a transcript and saw more N-words in 10 minutes than the 4 years I spent there combined. Everywhere I looked, there was monkeys running around. Wanted to ask the woman in the guidance office, where are all the white kids? Where the F are all these N-words come from? Sean Goode. Eat a black D-I-C-K. Michael Proctor.
Dude, and if you don't know who Michael Proctor is, he has the most punchable face in the world. He's disgusting. Just a disgusting imbecile, to put it lightly. And this is the type of mentality he walks around with for the past 10 years as a cop, and gets promoted. And when he was doing his background check to become a cop, he even put in a text message somewhere that he couldn't believe that he passed the background check. He didn't believe in himself enough to think he was going to pass the background check. That's how disgusting this guy is. And this is how he walks. This is what he thinks, and he's stupid enough to put it in writing and send it to his buddy who thinks the same thing. They're like, my friends and I were nasty growing up in Cleveland, and we were children, underage children, and we would say nasty stuff, and we never even come close to becoming as nasty as these disgusting bigots. Not even close. But we've all grown up since then, and these guys are in their 30s and 40s and are armed with the ability to ruin people's lives. And this is the mentality they're walking around with.
That lady was an absolute C-word, rag N-word who had it in for me for some reason. Sean Goode. Stupid ugly gook. Michael Proctor. Unfortunately, I know Randolph all too well. Place is a complete SHIT hole, filled with N-words, no good N-words. Sean Goode. She's a Jew, so definitely puts out. Michael Proctor. Deport their asses. I don't care if they're here legally or what their excuse was. Effing deport those sand N-words. Sean Goode. CHINK, tard. Michael Proctor. Detroit should be destroyed along with places like Flint, Michigan. They are breeding grounds for N-words to run wild. Sean Goode. Jew effer. Michael Proctor. It should be punch a N-word day in Canton today out of retribution. Any shine you see, blast it in the face. Sean Goode. N-word. Michael Proctor. All have shrubs between their legs. Michael Proctor. America sucks. It was really onto something. Then the effing US had to step in and ruin it. Actually, it was Russia.
He's talking about that. He's talking about the little German guy from the 30s who ran Germany at the time. He was onto something, is what he's saying. Like, how disturbing is it that these, and this is just the cop that they caught, and then another cop who trained or was the supervisor of this guy testified in court in front of a jury that he's one of the most professional cops you'll ever meet. And they knew about this, man. This ain't nothing new. This is over a year ago that they knew about this. And they tried to put that lady in jail for life by setting her up. And the killer is still walking free, which I believe is Higgins.
The U.S. came in much later, but thank you, Michael, for the history lesson. Indeed, throughout the course of their friendship, which dates back to high school, Goode and Proctor bonded over the warped prism through which they both view their surroundings and the individuals they encounter in their personal and professional lives. These distorted worldviews were shaped by unimaginable hatred and intolerance through which they dehumanized others, often wishing violence or death upon them, demeaning them, or even suggesting planting evidence on them just to cause them harm. Talk about constitutional violations just because you were born in a different country or you're a different color skin or creed or race or sex. In written and recorded audio conversations beginning in 2013, the year MSP hired Proctor, when Goode was already an officer with CPD, and for almost a decade later, these two law enforcement officers referred to community members whom they encountered as C-word, fat C-word, real C-word, N-word, dirty N-word, little N-word, stupid ugly G-word, C-word, CHINK, C-tards, SPIC, and Jew chicks. Proctor and Goode believed these folks were polluting the neighborhood in which they lived and worked, and where they eventually served. They did more than just subscribe to and act in conformance with their bigotry. They actually memorialized in writing and voice messages to their like-minded friends. Not a few communications. Thousands of them. They discussed sharing private nude pictures of women and intentionally, oh God. They discussed sharing private nude pictures of women, I'm reading this for the first time if you can't tell, and intentionally ejaculating on women while they slept. Few protected classes, community members, or public figures were spared. Goode wrote, Boston Mayor Michelle Wu is a little C-word. The governor can S my D. New England Patriots owner Robert Kraft is a terrible C-word Jew. Anne Franks is a lying C-word. Anne Franks? First of all, I think you mean Anne Frank, the Jewish girl that almost survived the Holocaust by hiding in her neighbor's attic, but unfortunately she was discovered and murdered by the Germans in World War II. But we have her book. She wrote a book, which to this day is taught in schools, and for some reason he has an issue with that.
So this video is an hour long, and it only gets worse from here, people. So there's your modern day police. Like, people still think that if they make up coping phrases like, if you don't break the law, nothing will happen to you. And 25, 30 years ago, I thought the same thing. As long as you don't break the law, you're fine. But that is not the truth. It's not a few bad apples, and it's not if you don't break the law, nothing will happen to you. It's a lottery. If you leave your house, even sometimes you don't have to leave your house, but if you leave your house in America, your biggest risk is running into an armed agent of the government. That's the biggest risk you take being an American, is running into one of these guys, and they don't like you because of your race, ethnicity, and they really don't like guys like me who don't put up with cops splaining and BS. I know, I actually do my research, know the laws that they're supposed to enforce so I can protect myself. They really hate people who stand up for themselves. All right, that's it, everybody. And I can't thank you enough for the people who have been around all these years. It's been a wild ride. Barely any views because I get suppressed. And of course, YouTube claims they don't do that to anybody, but they're full of crap, bro. They manipulate everything, dude. Anyway, appreciate all you guys over the years. And yeah, much love, peace, and tranquility. You guys have a good day. Be safe. And catchphrase out.